Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is Ghoul MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio. We are awaiting the arrival of Michael Bullock. If he shows up, great. If he doesn't, then we will probably see him sometime next week. So, with that said, we do start everything off here tonight with SmackDown Live, and yeah, guys, this got real. So, as many of you guys know, last week, I should say on Monday night, we witnessed the worst Monday Night Raw of all time. Uh, Many people thought, we were wondering what the heck is going on. Apparently, Vince McMahon is back in power, and we're thinking, uh-oh, is WWE in trouble now? Then, based off the actions of AEW on Wednesday night, and now you start getting a sentiment or a feeling like, it looks like WWE is on the decline, AEW is on the rise. I think after the events of tonight, I don't think WWE is completely dead yet. But we'll wait and see. Um, we'll give you our thoughts about it and everything else. So, starting off, we are going to start off with SmackDown Live and from Portland, Oregon. And here we go. So, what we did start off with was a match, actually. So we started out with some legit wrestling. Uh, Unlike on Monday Night Raw, where there was a lot of promo stuff, this time around we actually got some legit professional wrestling. Starting it off, a 6-man tag team fight, as it was Imperium, Ludwig Kaiser, Giovanni Vinci, and the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion Gunther. They went up against all three members of the Brawling Brutes, as it was Butch, aka Pete Dunne, um, Sheamus, and Ridge Holland. And when it was all said and done, it was indeed the Brawling Brutes. It was Butch getting the win. I'm trying to get the time of the fall, so just bear with me, folks. But I will say this. If you want to talk about fight of the night or a great way to start the show, this was it. Hell of a fight, hell of a battle. I'll say 3.5 stars for the match. Great body of work by everybody involved. And the storyline was pretty simple. They went out there and they brought the action, made it a very strong 6-man tag team fight. And when it was all said and done, they made it abundantly clear how this was going to go, as it was the Brawling Brutes winning it in 11 minutes and 45 seconds. So it was easily 3.5 stars. Anthony Florio, it is yours.
3.5 stars, and better than almost everything we saw on Raw Monday night alone. I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think we know who was in charge of this show tonight.
Papa H?
You damn right.
Yeah. And I heard something very interesting about that other guy. I'll put that in the text chat, and we'll see. You'll probably get a kick out of what I found out, but if it's true. But anyways, these two teams can have a good match blindfolded. They have worked countless times over the last 6 or 8 months, including a good old-fashioned Donnybrook at Extreme Rules last October, and have exquisite in-ring chemistry. This was no different, though. It was certainly hurt by the commercial break right in the middle of it. Still, it was quality wrestling from 6 guys who know what they are doing and know their opponents. Sheamus scoring the win was a nice way for him to recover from the WrestleMania loss, and Gunther was protected in defeat, making it an effective enough booking choice. Where does this leave Sheamus, and are we really running it back with him and Gunther instead of freshening things up a bit? All signs point to yes. at least the eventual title match should be another banger, like their first encounter, an instant classic at last year's Clash at the Castle in Cardiff, which ended up being our match of the year, and that show also ended up being our pay-per-view of the year as well. With the referee distracted, Ludwig Kaiser shoved Butch off the ropes and into a deadlift suplex from Giovanni Vinci, allowing the heels to take control entering the break. Gunther cut off Ridge Holland following a hot tag, blasting him with a chop. Butch broke up a pinfall attempt following a powerbomb. Sheamus delivered white noise for a 2 count. Butch delivered a moonsault from the ropes to Kaiser on the floor. And we also got that damn joint manipulation. Ugh. Ugh. He did the finger break. That's all he did. And he did it on Gunther. He did it on Gunther.
Smart move.
Oh, God. Oh.
If there's one thing that will neutralize that vicious chop of Gunther, break the freaking fingers.
Yeah, because every time I see any joint manipulation, I have nightmares of the most horrific and gruesome injury in wrestling history. And you know where I'm going with that. So
yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yep, 22, which happened 22 plus years ago. But story for another day. But for right now, 3.5 stars. You can certainly make an argument for one of the fights of the night for sure. So there isn't much more for me to say on this. So Phenom, Michael Bullock, come on in. Fresh off another one of our legendary SmackDown chats tonight. And we definitely had a lot more fun with this show tonight. And what a great way to start it off. Imperium and the Brawling Brutes. Brawling Brutes winning the match. 11 minutes and 45 seconds. Sheamus gets the fall. So who knows? Maybe Sheamus might get yet another shot at that Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship and maybe win it this time, maybe?
Well, we'll have to wait and see. But, yeah, this is definitely a great way to start this off. I mean, with a match like this, I mean, you couldn't have asked for anything better than this. And yeah, I mean, 3.5 stars, fight of the night. I mean, when you got these two teams in there, you know it's going to be something really good, and that's what we got here. So yeah, so there's really nothing more for me to add on to it. So it's yours, Fletch.
So then, right after that, then you're thinking, all right, so how are they going to top that? You know, there was a backstage stuff and everything else. Then they do Ivar versus Ricochet. All right, if this was McMagma's booking, Ivar goes over and squashes Ricochet easily, no doubt. You know he loves his big guys and whatnot. Well, this is the difference between him and Papa H. Ricochet gets the win. 4 minutes and 10 seconds. So, Anthony Florio, maybe a fun little sprint. Interesting booking match, no doubt. Of course, obviously, you were thinking, uh-oh, McMagma? Nah.
Nope.
Hunter had this all the way.
Well, one small caveat was that Braun Strowman and Eric, their respective partners, were banned from ringside for this match. That's what Michael Cole said. 2.5 stars. Fun little sprint, competitive match that showcased the athleticism of both men. Saw Ricochet overcome his opponent's strength, size, and agility to deliver a shooting star press and score the pinfall win. This was a follow-up to what was, without a doubt, the sleeper fight of the weekend, the men's WrestleMania showcase match. Most likely the latest in a budding rivalry between the Viking Raiders, Ricochet, and Braun Strowman, and was a nice highlight for both men. There was little in the way of substance or psychology, but it was a fun little sprint that saw the ultra-talented babyface earn a quality win. No harm, no foul, just a solid addition to the card. And Ivar springboarded right into a drop kick from Ricochet, and then Ivar flattened Ricochet with a spin kick for 2. Those were really the only notable highlights from this one. But nonetheless, 2.5 stars, fun little sprint. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, that's what we agreed on when we watched this during our SmackDown chat tonight. Fun little sprint. Ricochet going over.
Yeah, 2.5 2.5 stars. I mean, this was indeed a fun little sprint. I mean, yeah, I mean, going into this, you would think that it would be that Ivar would be all over and would squash Ricochet. Nope. Ricochet gets the victory, carries the momentum after a really good WrestleMania, especially with that showcase. And yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. 2.5 stars, fun little sprint. It is yours, Fletch.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement with everything you guys have just said. 2.5 stars. Um, could have it been better in certain elements? Yeah, but
Well, I see we lost MF for the moment. He was giving his thoughts on the. Okay, there he is.
All right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that, guys. I don't know what happened there. I must have hit the wrong button. There we go. But I was trying to check something on the private chat. All right. So, oh, very interesting. All right. So, with that said, look, I'm going to say this. It was a fine match. 2.5 stars, no doubt about it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great action, everything else. At the end of the day, could have it been better? Yeah, but look, they did a fine job. So, next up, next up we had was a tag team fight. Also, another showcase, two women that, for the women that were in the showcase at WrestleMania, it was Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez going up against Natalia and Shotzi. You guys don't have to talk about this, but Liv and Raquel wins the match in about 3 minutes. And more importantly, this was more a showcase. This was to showcase the women, Raquel and Liv, because as many of you guys know, this Monday Night Raw, there is a huge championship fight going down, as it will be Raquel and Liv, and they're going to be fighting and they're going to be going up against the reigning champions, Becky Lynch and Lita. And that match is set for Monday night on Monday Night Raw. So, next up, it was the game. Papa H makes his appearance. Fans in Portland was ready for it. We were ready for the big announcement, whatever that announcement was going to be. Now, about a week ago, or on Monday night, he made a speech saying that WWE wasn't going anywhere, this and that, blah, 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 blah. And it wasn't what we were, we were hoping for something big. We didn't get it that night, and we all knew what happened next on Monday Night Raw. This time around, Papa H came with news. Very big news. Game-changing news. And so he starts out, said there's nothing in the world like WrestleMania. He said his heart was broke. He said hearts are broken and dreams were fulfilled. Talks about the success that WrestleMania had with record-breaking stuff, from attendance to merch to everything that happened, even viewership. There were records being broken left and right. But it was time. It was time to look towards the future. Are you ready? Oh yeah. So the fans got hyped. We're thinking, what's going on? Well, gentlemen, it's time to shake things up a bit. The 2023 WWE Draft will be happening in a few weeks. Now, we don't have a date. It has not been announced, but we do know it is coming. In a few weeks, the WWE draft will happen, and we will have some shakeups. Of course, everything is in play. Raw, SmackDown, NXT will be involved in this draft, and nobody is safe. You should know that. This is always the event where traditionally teams have been broken up, couples have been broken up, and more importantly, could this be the moment that the belts get split up? Things have happened in the past. Everything is fair game in the draft. So, with that said, Michael Bullock, you lead off on Papa H's big announcement. The draft is coming. We know it's going to happen. We just don't know when and what city will be benefiting from the draft. But we do know that the draft in the past has been a 2-night event. So it's yours, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, this time around, Triple H did come up with something, and he said that the draft is coming, and all I can say is things are definitely going to get shaken up whenever this draft happens. I mean, we've seen this happen so many times with the draft. I mean, groups can be broken up, and those superstars could be on different shows, but either way, this is going to be something. I mean, and like you said, I mean, everybody from Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, they're in play. So I just simply cannot wait for this draft to come and to see who goes where. So it's yours, Fletch.
I think we're all excited for this. I know there's a lot of people that are still and I get it. Some people are going to be harboring it. Some people are going to be holding their breath because we know McMahon is definitely now more involved in WWE than he was the last time around. Going into this is technically Triple H's first draft that he's going to be overseeing as the head of creative. We hope, because there's that doubt in the minds of a lot of fans that what about for, is it possible that it could be, another thing? We don't know. And a lot of people are wondering who's really in control of WWE right now. Is it Hunter or is it Vince? Well, I'll say this. If tonight is any indication, tonight was a Triple H show. And he definitely, you could tell where it was a Triple H show to a Vince McMahon show. So, for what it's worth, WWE has a great opportunity, and to shake things up a bit is actually a right thing to do. You want to shake things up. You need to shake things up because of the fact that a lot of things need to be done, and there's going to be a lot of looks and certain things that's going to happen that really is going to either help or hurt the product. But if you're WWE, you need everything to go your way. And right now, with momentum and everything else, I hope Hunter really brings this and tears this apart and brings everything to a great, this momentum that they got. I hope it does pan out and work. So we really got nothing more to say. This is going to be very interesting to watch more than anything else. So it's going to get interesting. Anthony Florio, I think we were hoping for an announcement like this on Monday. We didn't get it. Well, we got it tonight in Portland, and it could not have come at a better time for WWE.
Oh, absolutely. It is once again time for the WWE draft, as Triple H announced tonight. The King of Kings and Chief Content Officer of WWE revealed that every superstar will be eligible, and it will quote unquote change the game. It remains to be seen what he means by that last line, but after the long build to WrestleMania, it is definitely time to shake up the rosters and create new matches and stories. With Triple H supposedly at the helm, we think there is reason to be optimistic about it, even if our excitement proves to be misguided. This Triple H said of this year's WrestleMania, this year it exceeded all expectations. But Michael Cole said something very interesting on commentary. He referred to Triple H as one of the all-time greats now running this place. Read into that what you will. And Triple H said, that's why I am out here to talk about the future. In just a few short weeks, it is once again time for the WWE draft. This year, the draft will be bigger than it has ever been before, with every single superstar eligible for the draft. When it is all said and done, this year's draft will surely change the game. It's that last line that we're going to be, thinking about. That's change the game. Well, there's one move that I definitely see happening. I definitely see Rhea Ripley going from Raw to SmackDown because she's SmackDown Women's Champion. That's going to be a major coup for UMF and the SmackDown.
I could actually see the entire Judgment Day going to SmackDown. I actually do.
Keep them together. Keep the the newly reformed LWO together. You got a gold mine right there.
Yeah, we would. I think we could see is, and one other I think we could see, and I really hope I see it. I think Roman stays on Raw. I think Roman stays on SmackDown. But I think the Nightmare goes to SmackDown as well. I think Cody goes to SmackDown, and that sets up the big rivalry between Roman and Cody. Now, as far as the undisputed titles go, I don't think we're going to get it resolved now. I think we could get that resolved at Money in the Bank. Because I think the winner of the Money in the Bank might go after Roman and go after one of the belts. And that's where you get the split of the belts.
Maybe
I don't think it's going to... Huh?
Cody? Or do you think somebody else?
I think somebody else is going to get... Okay. This is where now it gets a little dicey.
Yes.
I think the WWE Championship is going to stay on SmackDown. I think the Universal title is going back to Raw. That's my personal opinion.
If that happens, that means out with the blue belt, bring back the red belt.
I think that is going to happen. That's my personal thought. Then you'll have a true Universal Champion back on Raw.
As we should.
Because I think a guy from Raw will win the Universal title. They'll take it off Roman. Roman will get the belt split. At SummerSlam, this is where I believe Cody will knock Roman off and finally becomes the WWE champion.
Yes, I definitely see that.
So that would be my thought, my sentiment. Very possible. As far as the tag belts go, I think they're going to get split. I think the tag titles will be split. And that's where I do believe Owens and Zayn and Sammy will lose one of the pairs. And I don't know, and maybe it's the Profits that gets them back and brings them. Or maybe they'll give it to some other team, an up and coming. I heard a rumor about maybe a team possibly from NXT.
Wow.
That could take the belts.
That would be something.
There's a few guys I'm hearing that could be jumping from NXT. And one team I heard, and one I heard could be from NXT. That could take the belts.
Very possible.
Very possible.
But nonetheless, it's going to be very interesting to see when this all goes down. Few short weeks, maybe sometime later this month. I don't know. Very possible. Maybe it could be a lead into Backlash. I don't know. But few short weeks. So it leads me to believe it'll be sometime later this month. So
yeah.
We'll see what happens. Just can't wait for it. I mean, we haven't had one since I believe October of 2021. I think that was the last draft.
Yeah.
So, because I don't recall having one last year. So, but in the immortal words of Mick Magma, like him or not, it is indeed time to shake things up again. No doubt about it. It's most assuredly time to shake things up again. And I can't help it, but that last line, that's going to resonate, not just with me, but it's going to resonate with all of us until this draft goes down. Change the game. If that's true, I hope and pray that he meant that in a good way. So we'll see what happens. So by default, this was the segment of the night. No question about it. We thought it was going to be, another carbon copy announcement. Like we saw, it was going to be almost exactly like what he did on Monday. It was going that way until he announced
It was. And I got a little, and I openly admit, I got a little leery with Hunter. I'm like, where are you going with this, Trips? Come on, bro.
Yep.
I know you're.
Too.
Yep, I like, where are you going with this, Trips? I'm feeling like you're holding something on us. Come on, man. Come on. Give me something here. Give us something here. Once he yelled draft, I was like, oh, okay, yes. There it is.
Like, yes, let's go. Where was that on Monday night? Where was that? That's all I can say. But, hey, better late than never, as the old saying goes. So we'll take it. Default segment of the night. There wasn't really many segments on the show tonight, but this was definitely, by default, the segment of the night. And a much better announcement from Pop H this time around, unlike that ridiculousness we saw on Monday night. But, hey, draft is coming. Time to shake things up again. Can't wait to see it. And the way he hyped it, he damn sure better deliver. That's all I'm saying. So, change the game. It better be in a damn good way. Let's move on.
Well, and I'm going to say this. So, after Triple H's announcement, then we had Rhea Ripley. Then we had the Judgment Day. They were cutting a promo, everything else, only to be cut it off by Ray, by the LWO, and we had ourselves the tag team fight. This was highly anticipated, but it finally happened. Dominic Mysterio, Damian Priest versus Ray and Santos Escobar. And when it was all said and done, the winners of the bout in 10 minutes and 10 seconds, Dominic and Damian Priest, they get it. I believe this goes back to me, which was a solid fight. I could easily say maybe third best fight of the night here. It was a solid match. Very good matchup. I would say about maybe 2.5 to 3. Like I said, solid work, good action. I really got nothing more to add. So, Anthony, it's back to you.
3.25, teetering on 3.5. A red hot tag match saw Ray continue to avenge his family's disgrace at the hands of Dominic by beating up on his son. Down the stretch, though, it was Priest who scored the win for the Judgment Day by pinning Santos Escobar with South of Heaven. WWE and Triple H invested a lot of time in Judgment Day here, and it worked. Rhea Ripley looked like a star. Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio were great as they explained away major losses. And Damian Priest continued to demonstrate the screen presence that WWE has not highlighted nearly enough. When he talks, you cannot help but take notice. More of this, Triple H. Let Damian Priest shine. The heat for Dominic was off the charts. It has been a long time since a heel garnered that intense dislike from the audience. Maybe since Vicky Guerrero, probably. It is further proof that this push is working and WWE may have a legit star of the future on its hands. Rhea Ripley touted her eradication of the 14-time women's champion Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. What kind of sicko needs to resort to splitting my head open to get a W? Finn Balor asked following the loss to Edge in Hell in a Cell at Mania that left him needing 14 staples to close a wound on his head. And Edge ain't nowhere to be seen, and Finn is still standing. Crowd booed Dominic so loudly and long that he could not speak initially. From there, he claimed to have pulled his punches so as not to hurt his father at WrestleMania. Michael Cole reminded viewers that Eddie Guerrero created the original LWO during his time with WCW and noted that this time Ray willingly joined the group. Quick little notes like this help an unknowing audience understand the backstory. Ray exploded into the ring and the crowd erupted for the Hall of Famer's onslaught on his son. Dominic halted his father's momentum with a Michinoku driver for 2. And Zelina Vega took out Rhea Ripley at ringside, preventing her interference in the final moments. I believe, in my heart of hearts, I told Bullock this during our SmackDown chat tonight in MF, and I'm sure you'll agree with me when I say, I think Zelina Vega would be a great first challenger for Rhea in the SmackDown Women's title. I think that.
She is a former Queen's Crown winner. I mean, she is the current Queen's Crown winner until the tournament happens. So I could see it.
And by the way, that the day of the King and Queen of the Ring event, May 27th, that day will mark Roman Reigns' 1,000 days as champion right there.
Wow.
That's going to be day number 1,000 for the Tribal Chief.
All right.
So there you go. So just wanted to throw that out there. So it was a 3.5-star match, but I'm going to bump it down to 3.25 because it did get a little overbooked at the end. Typical Judgment Day shenanigans. But if this is the first of many matches between the Judgment Day and the newly reformed LWO, which I know brought a smile on your face, MF, and a tear to your eye at the same time, because I know because you know. When Ray did that moment last Friday night during WrestleMania Smackdown and brought out those LWO shirts, I heard a loud "Let's go" from MF from my house to where he is. I swear I heard I'm like, I think, did I just hear a "Let's go"? If I did, a Pat McAfee style "Let's go," MF is freaking out. And you even said it in our messenger chat. I want the shirt. It's on shop.com, big boy. You can go and get one. So
I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it to be at the arena. I want it at the arena. I want it at that WWE shop arena.
Next time.
You know, the next time they come, if they got that shirt, I'm going for that shirt. I don't give a damn. I'm going for that.
I knew you would. So, and I know how excited you were to see that. And because, I mean, it only lasted for a few months in the old WCW. I mean, Eddie Guerrero started it around October of 98. I think it only lasted until January of 99. I think Ric Flair had something to do with that. But somebody disbanded it. But you think of all the legends that were in that. I mean, Eddie Guerrero was in that. I think Psychosis was in that. Ray was forced to join the group against his will because he lost a match to Eddie Guerrero when they were feuding. So he had to join by choice. By no choice and against his will, but a lot of legends were in that stable in the original WCW. So look it up. But anyways, 3.25 for the match. So not much more to say here. Michael Bullock, the LWO and the Judgment Day. Looks like the first chapter was written tonight, and there's plenty more of this story to go around. So it's a 3.25-star match. Michael Bullock. Okay, there he is. Okay. So, all right, Bullock, your thoughts on Dominic and Damian Priest defeating Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar 10 minutes and 10 seconds?
I guess you could say Ray and Damian and Dominic got their payback from what happened at WrestleMania. But yeah, this ongoing feud with the Judgment Day and the newly reformed Latino World Order is far from over. So, yeah, 3.25 stars. I mean, I could have given it 3.5, but because of the shenanigans by the Judgment Day, I mean, you have to bump it down to that. But yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you guys just said, so there's really nothing more to say. So let's move right along, Fletch.
All right. With that said, we do indeed move right on along. So the next thing that we did have here on SmackDown Live, well, first off, before we do anything, there's a big announcement. Next week on SmackDown, we get the return of the artist formerly known as Shinsuke Nakamura for the first time since January, since his epic battle at Pro Wrestling Noah when he got to fight in his end of his career. We're talking about the one and only Great Muta, who's now a WWE Hall of Famer. Nakamura makes his return to the Blue brand starting next week. Great time. I'm excited. When I heard this news, I was marking out. Absolutely just beyond happy to see the fact that he's coming back. So we got that. Then it leads us to the main event of the evening, as it was Jey Uso going one-on-one with Sami Zayn. When it was all said and done, the winner of the bout, 10 minutes and 15 seconds, was Jey Uso. Thanks to a little help. By Solo Sikoa with the amniotic spike, nailing Sammy with it, only to get a little bit of some interference, but then 2-on-1 beatdown. But the most unlikeliest of heroes came through. Riddle showed up on SmackDown. Michael Bullock, one time for me. You jumped the gun. That's all right. That's all right. I was trying to set it up, bro, but that's all right. You got it. It's all yours, man. So it actually leads off on you anyway. So yeah. Jey Uso wins, but like you said, the original bro himself, Riddle, shows up. Big surprise. Nobody saw that coming.
Well, the thing is, Fletch, the last time we saw Matt Riddle, what happened?
Yeah, not so good.
Yeah, and who was responsible for it?
The Usos.
Yeah, you don't think for 1 minute it was Solo who put him out. So yeah. you don't think for 1 minute that that Matt Riddle has forgotten about it. You knew the moment he returned, I think he was gonna get some payback on Solo, and I think this is gonna lead to a future encounter with Matt Riddle and Solo Sikoa. But for right now, I'm gonna give this about maybe. I'll give this what is it? I'll give it about maybe 3 stars. I could give it 3.25, but the little interference from Solo knocked it down just a little bit. So yeah, there's really nothing more for me to add on to it. So it's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, 3 stars, no doubt about it. I totally agree with everything you just said here. So I thought it was a solid match. Could have been better in certain elements, but it was a fine main event. Nice surprise to see Matt Riddle. Of course, Riddle's got his hands tied with The Miz as well because of what happened on Monday Night Raw. But this was awesome, man. I mean, there's really nothing more to add. So Anthony, it's yours.
And Riddle and The Miz 1-on-1 Monday Night Raw in Seattle Monday night. So let's not forget that. In addition to that big women's tag team title match as well. So see what happens with that. But anywho, 3 to 3.25 for this. Riddle's introduction to the program makes sense given the fact that it was Solo Sikoa that put him on the sidelines late last year. The original bro was welcomed with a big pop and was intense and aggressive and fighting the heels off. Now it'll be up to Triple H and company to convince fans that Riddle is on the level of the Bloodline and that he provides a legitimate threat both to Solo and potentially Roman Reigns. What the injury means for Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn as they embark on their tag title reign remains to be seen. It started, Sami confronting Jey Uso backstage, trying to convince him to wake up and realize what is going on with the Bloodline. There's a way out of this for you. You know that. And then he said Solo's looking at you like he's about to drop the hammer that he told Jey, warning him of something those watching at home already knew. And if you want me to beat it out of you like I did at WrestleMania, I will. That's not how it has to be. And after a commotion, Kevin Owens was discovered pinned under an anvil case, his left leg badly damaged. In the background, the mastermind, Paul Heyman, watched on. And Sami told Jey early in the match, the Bloodline is crumbling and you know it. And then Solo made his way to ringside ahead of the final commercial break of the night as Michael Cole outright said that he is not just there to take care of the Zayn problem, but also Uso. Jey delivered a super kick for a near fall, and Sami answered with a blue thunderbomb for one of his own. Solo delivered the amniotic spike to Sami and rolled him back in the ring to set up the finish with Jey Uso winning. There will most certainly be a tag team title rematch at the earliest possible date. We don't know when. Maybe Backlash. I don't know. We'll have to find out. But you best believe that the Usos will invoke the rematch clause. You know a rematch is coming. But we just don't know when. But 3 to 3.25 stars. Another one of the fights of the night for sure. And a very good way to cap off what ended up being a far better SmackDown than that dumpster fire we saw on Monday night. So not much more to say. Let's get to our overall review.
And now, can we just pump the brakes on the demise of the WWE just for a little bit, folks? Because obviously after tonight, it was abundantly clear Hunter was running the show. They did what they needed it to do. And it was a lot better than it was the last time out. Now, does that mean that we gotta say, oh, Hunter's running he's truly running creative again? Or is that just a one-off? We don't know. All we know is that at least for this episode, SmackDown Live was back to where they were. They were back to an area and they were back to an element that got us pumped. And what that means is that with WWE, they delivered in spades. This was the SmackDown we all thought we were going to get. This is what Monday Night Raw should have been on Monday night. The Raw after WrestleMania, where this show should have been a lot more stronger, a lot more hype, a lot more whatever you want to talk about. But at the end of the day, yeah, there was some moments that it did go off the rails. And that was no fault of our own. It was just why? Why did Vince wanted it to impose the will? Why did he find now was the time to do it? And the thing is, maybe he wanted it to impress the new guys in Denver. Maybe he wanted it to show them what he's capable of. Well, obviously, Endeavor heard it, and they even talked about that. Yeah, they seen the negativity from the fans. They saw what happened. They're not oblivious. They're aware of what happened, so they know what went down. And maybe this was their way of saying, you know what? It's probably better that we do it this way. Who knows? Whatever the case may be, is that everybody who's talking about the demise of WWE maybe want to ease on the brakes just a little bit. Because let me tell you, other than maybe a couple of things, and we're going to get into the AEW Rampage and the battle for the belts that was held right here tonight from the Ryan Center in our own proverbial backyard in Kingston, Rhode Island, which is about I want to say about a half an hour from where we are. And lo and behold, I didn't find anything amazing about tonight's AEW show. Even though, yeah, there were certain elements that were pretty good, but there was nothing to write home about with AEW. So let's ease the brakes on all this, greatness of AEW because they got Jay White and they're going to try to sell out Wembley Stadium. For all that matters is that, yeah, it'll be a great show, but anybody who's hoping for the demise of WWE, well, guess what? It ain't happening anytime soon. So nothing more to say, Florio. I think you guys already gave your reviews, right, for the show?
No.
I'm sorry,
Anthony. That was you. I think you were supposed to start that off anyway.
Yeah. All right. So Anthony, it's yours.
What's your rating, MF?
8 out of 10. I'll go 8. I thought it was, like I said, 8 for me.
I'll meet you in the middle, 7.5 to 8. I'm right there with you. Far better than Monday, obviously, for obvious reasons. Let's see. We had 3 solid matches. Imperium and Brawling Brutes, fight of the night. You had a very good match with Sami Zayn and Jey Uso. A very good tag team match with Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar against Dominic Mysterio and Damian Priest. You had a fun little sprint with Ricochet and Ivar. We only had one bad match, which was the women's match. Because I'll be honest, the women's match, ho-hum diva fight. Enough said. So that's what that was. And then Triple H, it looked like it was going to be the same as Monday, but we actually got a payoff. He announced the WWE draft. So very exciting news, to say the very least, on that. Gives us something to look forward to. And yeah, so far better show than Monday. 7.5 to 8. That's the appropriate rating. So not much more to say here. Michael Bullock, take this portion home, and then we'll get into AEW Rampage and Battle of the Belt 6 from right here in Kingston at the URI Ryan Center.
All right, yeah, 7.5 to 8. I mean, definitely a far better show than that dumpster fire of Monday Night Raw. I mean, you said we had some quality matches. I mean, some good segments. I mean, yeah, there were some other things I thought that definitely could have been better, but all in all, I thought I thought they really hit it. So, yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. So, let's get into Rampage.
All right, we're gonna try to go as good as we can. Try not to go too fast here. We started the whole thing off with the match as it was Hook versus Ethan Page for the FTW Championship. When it was all said and done, the winner of the bout and still the FTW champion was Hook, winning by submission, 9 minutes and 13 seconds. Solid opener, good matchup. Really nothing bad to say. It was an all right fight more than anything else, and I thought they did a very good job. So I'd say about maybe 3 stars for it. So I really got nothing bad to say. And yeah, Anthony, it's all yours.
Solid 3. This might not have been the most exciting match we have ever seen, but it wasn't designed to be like that. It was booked the way it was to make Powerhouse Hobbs. Hold on a minute. My apologies. I thought I had the right night here. Oh boy. Okay. Anyways, my apologies for that. Yeah, it was definitely a 3-star match. I definitely agree with that. And you forgot to mention, MF, this match was an FTW rules match. Anything goes. So, and it was a match that we haven't seen since Hook's father, Taz, went up against Sabu back in 1999 in Asbury Park, New Jersey. I'm sure, I don't know if you know anything about that, but anyways, fun little hardcore style match. Definitely Hook's most unorthodox match in his short career. He made sure to give the crowd one more reason to pop when he put Ethan Page through the table. And has it always been false count anywhere during FTW title bouts?
Yes.
It doesn't feel okay. That doesn't feel like it has come into play before. And for some reason, the twist of fate never quite looks right if it's not if it's not a Hardy doing it, whether it's Matt or Jeff. But anyways, solid 3 stars and sleeper fight of the night, and maybe the most exciting match Hook has had yet. because usually he's had like 1 to 2 minute matches every time, but it's the hardest he's had to work in a match. So 3 stars. Set me up for the next match in Memphis. I think Bo's called it a night.
Yeah, he has called it a night. It was the Acclaim, Matt Menard and Angelo Parker. They went up against the Infirmary, LSG and Bobby Somebody, and it was the Acclaim and Matt Menard and Angelo Parker winning the match in 2 minutes and 4 seconds. We don't really need to get into this. After the match, the JAS and the Acclaim went into a full-on brawl. So, yeah, it turns out that they're not really doing anything on that one. So, next up we had was Darby Allin versus Lee Moriarty. When it was all said and done, winner of the bout in 10 minutes and 55 seconds was Darby Allin with the coffin drop. After the match, basically, Darby was backing up the ramp. Swerve Strickland showed up. But it wasn't not only that, but Brian Cage showed up and jumped Darby. So it looks like Swerve Strickland has joined Prince Nana and the Infirmary, representing so oh boy, is all I can say. Yeah, the Embassy.
What was the time of the fall again?
10:55.
Yeah. I'll tell you. A good match here. I'm gonna give this about 3 1/4, maybe 3 1/2. Darby Allin may have had a bigger push during his AEW career, but both of these men are two of the best young stars on the roster. They each represent a completely different style, but they were able to mesh their styles together to create an entertaining performance tonight. And despite some interference from Big Bill, Lee Moriarty was able to kick out of the coffin drop. Darby, much like Sammy Guevara and Jack Perry, continues to score wins in an attempt to earn a world title shot. Darby keeps reminding us that he can actually wrestle a technical style if he wants to whenever he faces guys like this. His best trait is his ability to match his style with that of his opponent. The look on Moriarty's face after Allin out-wrestled him in one exchange was perfect. Something about Excalibur saying Allin had been kicked in the belly button is really funny for some reason, and the way Darby was knocked off the top turnbuckle looked incredibly painful. And that big boot by Big Bill. Oh, did you hear that? Yeesh. So 3 1/4, 3 1/2. You could certainly make an argument for fight of the night on this show. So not much more to say. MF, your thoughts?
Yeah, 3 1/4, 3 1/2, no doubts. I thought it was a really good matchup. Really nothing more to add. Main event was Anna Jay versus Julia Hart, and Julia Hart winning the match in 9 minutes and 48 seconds. Pretty good main event, solid battle. I would say about maybe 2.5 to 3. Could have been better in certain areas, yes, but I really think that they did a fine job with the main event. Julia Hart with the biggest win of her career, no doubt about it. So, yeah, Anthony, it's yours.
9 minutes and how many?
48 seconds.
3 stars. This bout definitely had some moments where the lack of chemistry was evident, but they also had some hard-hitting offense and a few fun spots like Anna whipping Julia into the barricade by her legs, so it wasn't bad. It just had some rough moments. Julia Hart hasn't wrestled much this year, and both women are only a few years into their careers, so they're still growing as performers. That said, they did a great job making this an easy watch, especially since they picked up the pace after the commercial break. Julia was able to get the win, but she had to resort to using the Black Mist to get it. And both of these women are technically heels, but it felt like AEW wanted us to cheer for Julia Hart with the way both women were presented before the match. So that's really all I can say there. So solid 3. Overall, I would probably say maybe somewhere right around 6, 6.5. Although you can make an argument for 6.5 to 7, honestly. Solid show. Not overly spectacular. Shout out to our dear friend Ryan Avidizian. He was at this show tonight because he lives around that area. So I'm sure he had the time of his life tonight. So I'm sure we'll probably get a lot of media on his social media tomorrow. I'm sure. So, but yeah, 6.5 to 7. I think that's the appropriate rating. So not much more to say. So MF, AEW's first show in Rhode Island. How'd it look to you?
It was all right. I say 6.5, like you said, Anthony. I don't think there's really much more for us to. All right. Anthony, hang on.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't know what's going on with MF, but hopefully everything's okay. So, yeah. Usually after Rampage, that's it. But no, we actually had something else on this night tonight, and it was the sixth installment. It was Battle of the Belt 6, which of course was part of this 2-hour block tonight from the Ryan Center, Kingston, Rhode Island, on the campus of the University of Rhode Island. Our dear friend Ryan Avedisian was there tonight, and I'm sure he had a lot of fun with it. And we're waiting for MF to come back in. I mean, I just all I really need is the times of the fall for the matches, and that's all I have. But I do have the match card in front of me. Battle of the Belt 6, which if you haven't watched the Battle of the Belt show, all it is every match on the show is a championship match, and it's not necessarily exclusive to AEW. We've seen other promotions' championships be used, and we saw that here tonight as the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship was defended on this night. So let's keep that in mind. But we did see 2 AEW sanctioned championships. So we saw the International Championship defended by Orange Cassidy, and we also saw a TBS Championship defense from Jade Cargill against a very young prodigy, maybe the youngest prodigy in the game today. Her challenger is only 18 years old, and she was on a national, and she was highlighted on a national show here tonight. So big honor for that young lady. Oh, maybe fresh out of high school, I don't know, but yeah. I'll try to get the times of the falls for the matches. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with MF. Hopefully everything's okay on his end. Hopefully he'll be back with us momentarily. So it started off with the match for the AEW International Championship. The champion, freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy, defending the title against Dralistico, who's a part of that Igor Noble's faction. I can't pronounce it all that well. MF could absolutely nail it. But at the end of the night, the winner and still the AEW International Champion, it was freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy winning the match. I don't have a time of the fall. I'm hopeful that MF can get that for us momentarily, but from what I saw, it looked like a solid match here. Just bear with me for one moment here. All right. All right. I can get a time of the fall now. Battle of the Belt 6. All right. Orange Cassidy successfully defends the title. 10 minutes and 47 seconds is the time of the fall on that one. So, great match to kick off the Battle of the Belts hour. Cassidy sold that his hand was still damaged from his last match after he won. Malachi Black and Buddy Matthews delivered a promo after the match challenging Orange Cassidy to defend his title against Buddy Matthews. The look Julia Hart gave Orange Cassidy when he made his entrance was great. A character like her absolutely would hate a guy like him. Dralistico has a beautiful hurricanrana. He actually hooks his legs behind his opponent's head, so it's a lot more believable that he could take someone down with that move than it is when most people do it. Cassidy setting Dralistico up by hitting some weak chops as a joke before hitting one hard chop was a fun sequence. The announcers used to just say Cassidy was lazy, but now they are talking about how his style is built around playing mind games with his opponents. It goes a long way toward making him seem like a smart competitor instead of a goofy gimmick. So I will give this about 3.25, maybe 3.5 for the effort. I mean, a more than solid way to start off Battle of the Belts 6. Then we had Jade Cargill defending the TBS championship against Billy Starks, only 18 years old, mind you. And Jade, and winner of the match, 8 minutes 34 seconds, and still the TBS champion. It is Jade Cargill. No big surprise with this. I mean, we all knew Jade was going to retain. I'll give this in excess of 2 3/4 to 3. They had some moments that looked great, but the moments that didn't look good really stood out. Neither of these stars are a veteran, and they are still learning the business. So it's not surprising that their first encounter had a few bumps in the road. This was one of Cargill's longest matches, and in some ways, it was also one of her best. Some credit is owed to Starks as well. In the end, the champ retained her title with the bicycle kick and the jaded. Cargill was all over this week's AEW programming. She appeared on Dynamite, Rampage, and Battle of the Belts. Billy Starks has been all over the place lately. This girl is going to be one of the biggest stars in the business if she can stay healthy and keeps improving at this rate. The spanking shot was meant to... It just felt like a bad comedy spot. Cargill has improved a lot, but she still has a lot of rough edges to sand down. The sunset flip spot left a lot to be desired. And Cargill being so strong really helps with spots like Starks countering Jaded into a Hurricanrana. So that's really all I can say on that. So I would probably give this around 2.5, maybe 3. Okay, we got MF back in. MF, I covered a little bit of the Battle of the Belts. I hope that was all right.
Yeah, no, that's fine, man. I'm sorry, guys. Something came up that was kind of a little bit out of my control, but I'm back. So,
Okay.
yeah. So upward and onward we go. Like you said, and I heard what you said, Florio, and I kind of tend to agree with what you said about the Billy Starks versus Jade Cargill fight. Could have been. I thought it was a fine match. Yes, you can openly admit that this was her best match in AEW. And I think that's the thing that we got to see is that it needs to be better in certain elements, certain areas. I thought it was a solid matchup, good win. I really got nothing more to add.
What about the match before that? Orange Cassidy and Dralistico for the international title, which Orange Cassidy successfully defended in 10 minutes and 57 seconds.
I probably would call it the best fight. Honestly, I thought it was a solid matchup. I could probably say, probably about maybe 3 or 2.5 to 3 for that one, and then the Jade Cargill was about 2.5 on that as well. I really got nothing more to add there. So I thought they did a really good job. I thought it was a solid match, and yeah, there's really nothing more to add. So, Anthony, it is all. Now we go into what was going to be the main event. It was a title fight, as it was for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. The newly crowned champions, Penta El Zero Miedo and Rey Fenix, the Lucha Bros, going up against Powerhouse Hobbs and QT Marshall. When it was all said and done, the winners of the bout. Well, this is the
14 minutes and 41 seconds.
All right, there it is. 14:41. Still the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. Are the
yes, Lucha
the
Bros.
Lucha Bros.
Yep.
All right, I'll say this. It was all right. It was a good main event, fight of the night. 3.5, maybe 3 3/4, close to 4. It was good. There were certain areas that it wasn't everything it should have been. It could have been better in certain areas, but it was a solid main event to say the very least. It was a good fight, a good battle. I really got nothing more to add. So, yeah. I will say this. It was a solid main event, solid fight. nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
This match unfolded exactly how you would expect. When Hobbs was in the ring, he was usually dominating with his power. When it was Marshall's turn, the Lucha Bros were able to get in some of their spots. Well-paced and competitive bout, but it was also predictable in more ways than just the outcome. A lot of matches are predictable in how they will play out, but it almost felt like you could predict exactly which spots would come next in this one. Phoenix and Penta are among the best luchadors in the world, so everything they did looked clean. Marshall is a great technician, and Hobbs has made tons of improvements. So even though it was predictable, it was also fun to watch, so it was easy to forgive everything else. Hobbs and Marshall came close more than once, but the Lucha Bros ended up retaining the ROH tag titles when Phoenix pinned Marshall with a Hurricane Rana. It seems weird that AEW keeps sticking Hobbs with someone else. He's good enough to be a solo act. He does not need the QTV crew behind him. The level of disdain in JR's voice when he said the name Marshall was hilarious. Phoenix needs a singles run in AEW at some point, and the Canadian Destroyer spot from Penta looked great. I'll call this my default fight of the night, 3.5 stars. So as far as overall goes, I could probably give this another 7. I mean, they were all solid matches. I mean, the main event was the fight of the night. Second best was the International. The women's match was the worst, even though it wasn't, remotely bad. So I could probably give this a solid 7. So with that, MF, take it home.
Yeah, another 7. No doubt about it. I thought they did a really good job with it. Solid matchup, solid action. Really nothing more to add there. One quick little thing before we get on out of here. Of course, there was Super Card of Honor that went down last Friday. So a part of WrestleMania week. They were at the Galen Center in Los Angeles, California, and here was the actual fight card. So we was 4 pre-show fights, as it was Jeff Cobb versus Tracy Williams. Jeff Cobb winning in 5 minutes and 20 seconds. Then we had Konosuke Takeshita versus Willie Mack, and Takeshita winning the match in 9 minutes and 35 seconds. Then we had Miranda Alays versus Willow Nightingale. Willow Nightingale winning that. And then we had Stu Grayson going up against with Evil Uno. He went up against Slim J, and Stu Grayson winning the match in 7 minutes. Then on the main card, we had a Triple A Mega Copion championship fight, as it was the champion El Hijo de Vecino versus Commander. El Hijo de Vecino winning the match in 16 minutes. Go out of your way to watch this fight. Many people actually called this the fight of the night, believe it or not. Then we had the Embassy. They were going up against AR Fox, Blake Christian, and Malik. And it was the Embassy winning the match in 8 minutes. Athena versus Yuki Sakura. And it was Athena winning the match in 11 minutes and 40 seconds to successfully defend the Ring of Honor World Television Champion.
That previous match, MF, sorry to interrupt, the previous match with the Embassy, AR Fox, Blake Christian, and Mitalik was for the World 6-Man tag titles.
Yeah, World 6-Man tag on the line as well. World Television title fight, Samoa Joe versus Mark Briscoe. Samoa Joe winning the match in 16 minutes and 30 seconds. And yeah, a lot of people were heartbroken. A lot of people felt like Mark Briscoe should have won the belt there. Well, you didn't get that. So, like we always say, you don't get what you want. And I know a lot of people were criticizing Tony Khan for that booking decision. So, like I said, WrestleMania week, there was a lot of controversy and a lot of moments where people were angry about certain situations. So we'll leave it at that. Then we had Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Daniel Garcia. Hiroshi Tanahashi winning the match in 12 minutes. Then we had the Reach for the Sky ladder match for the vacated Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship. The Lucha Bros, Top Flight, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, and Aussie Open, and La Fusion Ignobles. When it was all said and done, the winner of the bout in 20 minutes and 20 seconds, the Lucha Bros, they win the tag team championship. Then for the pure championship, as it was Shibata going up against Wheeler Yuta, winner of the bout in 13 minutes and 10 seconds. And the new pure champion was Shibata. And then in the main event, Eddie Kingston versus Claudio Castagnoli for the Ring of Honor World title. And Claudio Castagnoli winning the match in 20 minutes and 15 seconds. That is it. We're out of here, folks. Monday night, we do it all over again for another edition of Ridiculously Raw, hosted by Anthony Florio. And then on Wednesday is Wednesday Night Madness. Right now, tentatively, we do have TXN Sports World. We got some XFL. We might even preview the USFL as well, because they do start next week as well.
We can,
and then of course,
we can most certainly add that if you'd like. Yes,
we could add that.
Sure.
Not only that, but we also got the recap and the preview of the next UFC stuff. So we got a decent docket, and we're also going to be
NBA
previewing, the NBA playoffs. They start next week. So with that said, we got some good stuff coming up. And then after that, the week after, we got the NHL. Woo! So we got some stuff to work on. We got some stuff to come up. And so with that said, for Anthony Florio, I am Michael Fletcher. Have a good night, everybody, and we'll see you guys on Monday.
Goodbye.